리딩입니다. 오늘 The Present 82쪽에서 87쪽 읽어보도록 할게요. In the years that followed, the man used what he had learned over and over again. He made adjustments along the way, depending on the situations he faced. He became better and better at what he did. He received many promotions. Eventually, he became the head of his company, a man respected and admired by those who knew him. Being with him made the people around him feel more alive. In his presence, they felt better about themselves. He seemed to listen better than most people, to anticipate and solve problems and see solutions before anyone else. In his personal life, he had created a loving family. His wife and children cared about him as much as he cared for him. In so many ways, he had become like the old man he so admired. The man enjoyed sharing what he had discovered about the present with others. He knew that many people appreciated the story and learned from it, while others did not. He realized, of course, that was up to them. One morning, a group of new employees gathered in the man's office. He had the tradition of greeting all new employees personally. A young woman noticed the framed card entitled "The Present" and said, May I ask why you keep that on your desk?" "Certainly," he responded. What's on the card is the summary of an inspiring and practical story I heard from a great man. It's about how to be happy and successful, in the broadest sense of those words. I find it's a real help to me. Several people in the group looked over at the card. "May I see it?" the woman asked. "Of course." The man handed her the framed card. The young woman read it slowly and then passed it to the others. After she read the card, the young woman said, "This seems like it could be very helpful in a situation I'm dealing with right now." As she handed the framed card back to him, she said, "Can we hear the story?" The group gathered around the conference table, and the man shared the story of the present. Then he handed out several copies of the card he kept in his desk. "I hope it will help you as much as it has me." Over the next few months, the man noticed that some of the new employees seemed to embrace the present. Those who did thrived. Others were skeptical or simply put it aside. Sometime later, the young woman who asked about the present re-entered his office. She had taken on more responsibility and seemed to excel at her job. "I just want to thank you for the story of the present," she said. "I keep the card with me and refer to it often. It's been invaluable." Then she left the man's office. Over time, the woman shared the story with family, friends, and business colleagues. Many of the people who heard the story prospered, and so did their organizations. And the man was pleased to see that what he had learned from the old man was helping the next generation. Several decades later, the man, now happy, prosperous, and respected, had become an old man himself. His children had grown and had families of their own. His wife had become his best friend and closest companion. Although he had retired from the business, the present continued to provide him with abundant energy, and he and his wife devoted themselves generously to other pursuits in the community. One day, a young couple with a little girl moved in down the street. Before long, the family came by to visit. The little girl enjoyed listening to the old man as she came to call him. It was fun to be with him. There was something special about him, although she didn't know what it was. He seemed happy and he made her feel happy and good about herself. What makes him so special? She wondered. How could someone so old be so happy? One day, she asked him. The old man smiled, and he told her about the present. The little girl jumped up with delight. As she ran off to play, the old man heard her exclaim, "Wow! I hope someday someone gives me the present." Thank you for listening. Bye.